Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Randy Bird, and we're here with Like a Boss podcast. And I'm super excited as we relaunch the show. You can hear the cool music we have. You see the beautiful girl in the background. And Like a Boss pod, we're taking this to a new level for 2022. And first of all, let me welcome Andrea Beem to the team. Andrea, how are you? And welcome.
What's up, Randy? I am doing awesome. This is exciting stuff here today.
This is. And, what we want to do is bring a podcast and, we're going to see a podcast out there, but bring a podcast that's really focused on a boss, somebody going for it, lady boss, boy boss, man boss, girl boss, whatever it is, like a boss, somebody that's going for it in the entrepreneur space, real estate brokers, team leaders, visionaries, small business owners. It doesn't matter if you're a plumber, a contractor, or you have a hot dog stand. If you're looking to take it to another level, we want to bring excitement and opportunity to this show that's going to give you, real world things that are going to help you. We're going to have some amazing guests to the show that are crushing it in their respective fields. We've had some great guests on the show in the past, but I'm really excited about this partnership here with Andrea Beem and the Beem team here in Oregon, and what this looks like for the podcast going forward. So with that, welcome Andrea Beem. Let's rock and roll like a boss.
Let's do this.
So give everybody a little background on yourself. They've been hearing me babble forever. So give us a little background. What's your upcoming through the entrepreneur space?
Well, I got into real estate in 2008. I mean, you guys, that was when it was crashing, right? My husband was like, "What are you doing?" And my response was, "I got this." I got this. And obviously through ups and downs and sideways, everything in between, still here today, still kicking. So
you have a big team here in the Willamette Valley.
Yes, yeah, we do. We're approaching we've got about 10, 11. We're up to about 11 right now.
Wow.
We're going to double in size this year and have some, big like a boss goals, and we're going to hit every single one of them.
I love that. I have no doubt since the day I've met you and until now, you've shown me that you're really a planner. We're going to laugh about that and talk about that a little bit, because I'm not a planner. I'm a wing it. I got this, right? Turn on the lights. I'm on stage and I'm ready to roll. I remember John Maxwell. I'm a big fan. And he said, you have to practice for 1 hour for every 1 minute you're on stage. And I was like, holy crap. That's like 30 hours for 30 minutes. I'm like 3 or 4 minutes of practice for that 30-minute piece on stage. But
sometimes not practicing, and I shouldn't say not practicing, not having it be scripted, right? Like not having that is actually better because you're more authentic and real and engaging. And it's just not the same. It's different in a good way.
Yeah. And you were sharing a story right before we started, and I said, stop, you have to share it live on the podcast. So give it to me again. Yes. I love what I was hearing.
So when I was a teenager, I competed in martial arts for many years, and I was at a tournament. And I got up there, I don't even know, probably about 27 people in our group. And I froze. I just legitimately froze on stage. Couldn't remember one move of the form or the kata that I was supposed to be doing. And I probably stood there for about 5 seconds. It felt like an eternity to me, and just made up the entire thing. I mean, Randy, I made up every move.
Every move.
I just knew I had to make it extreme, highs and lows and everything flamboyant, and it had to just be extreme. It had to get their attention, and I just somehow winged it and put it all together and took first place.
First place. That is
my coach afterwards said, "What the heck was that?"
Hey, first place, baby. Yeah. Like a boss.
Like a boss.
So, how old were you?
Oh my gosh, at that time, I think I was about 16.
Oh, that's so awesome. I did karate when I was in high school. I think I was probably around 16, maybe 17. I think I graduated at 17, and I did karate for a couple of years. So maybe in that 15 range, and went to be a red belt, which is like the instructor, never made black belt. Can't brag about any of that. But it was really, really interesting how you start having reactions to things that were not, not premeditated. It was really teaching me to have reactions to responses. And it was a self-defense shit shoe. It's not shit shoe, but it's something like that. Somebody's going to laugh about that, but it was like shish shoe. A kind of a soft Brazilian style that was a defensive, it wasn't offensive, it was mostly defensive. But it was, I remember those days very interesting, and had my many a days I made up my own katas as I was going as well, but without a first place trophy.
Well, something you said there strikes a thought that I had, that, when we talk about practicing, and in real estate, a lot of times we're practicing a script, right? Whether that's a consultation script for a listing, or a consultation for a buyer, or objection handlers, things like that.
Yeah.
We practice them so much they're in our subconscious. And you were talking about, there's something about, eventually it's embedded in you, right? So then all of a sudden one day you give a response and you're like, oh, where'd that come from? Like, you don't even realize it's there.
That's actually an amazing transition, because, like a boss, for me, what it means is bringing value to people that they're going to go, aha. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, really. I mean, obviously we're both real estate brokers. I'm a general contractor for 28 years. So I've got a skill set in those particular areas, and I've done a lot of flips. And so, that piece is comfortable for me. Right. But if you take me out of that environment, it's not comfortable, because I'm not used to it. And that script and that language and that response mechanism to it. And I've always told my team, hey, I want you practicing on me, not my customers, right? Yeah. I want you practicing on Randy, not my customers, because this is where the fun work is, and the growth is. And then you're going to go to the game on Sunday and perform, which is the listing appointment, the buyer appointment, anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about scripts. How do you guys practice scripts, and how much weight do you give value to those scripts? Because that could be, especially for a new agent, that's the scariest part for a new agent that is entering this business, I think, is what to say when certain pieces come up.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of hesitation, especially with new agents, and even with seasoned agents, around scripts. The word itself has this like scary connotation to it of, I don't want to sound like a robot. And while I can appreciate not wanting to sound like a robot, let me explain it this way. When you go to Starbucks, and you order a coffee in Portland, and then you go to Starbucks and you order a coffee in Seattle, it's the same stinking coffee, because there's a recipe for that, right? A script is the same way, right? Like you need to have certain standards and expectations for how you're going to handle a consultation. And so by practicing those, it doesn't mean you have to sound like a robot. It doesn't mean you have to say it verbatim and, my name is Andrea, and you don't do that, right? Like, but when you practice it and you internalize it, it becomes your own, and it becomes something that you're able to have a regular conversation with someone. And while to you, it might feel scripted because you've practiced it so many times, to them, it feels a little more spontaneous. But as long as you internalize it and you're not umming and ahhing through the whole thing,
right?
There's a standard.
It's such a great point. And, we're both coaches in different capacities, and some similar capacities. And, it's always something that comes up. People go, scripts don't sound like me, though. They're not supposed to in the beginning. They're supposed to be a proven response to an objection or something that comes up over and over again, that you can then internalize somebody else's script that works and then make it your own. Too many people try to make it their own in the beginning, and they get back to the thing that doesn't work, right? So, I love that piece. And, when I'm talking to agents, it's always a challenge for them to come from a place of like authenticity and it sounding like them without sounding scripted, right? And to this day, I still say a script when I pick up a phone and I'm like in a frame of mind where I'm just moving fast. I go back to what I know, which I haven't been at Coldwell Banker in 17 and a half years, right? I've been in real estate 18 and a half years. Coldwell Banker was my first office I went to in Redding, California. And the first thing they did is, I'm like brand new. I've been a successful contractor, but I'm transitioning to real estate. And I said, tell me what to do, coach. Put me in, I'll do whatever, I'm the worker. Just tell me what to do. And he goes, okay, look, go upstairs and learn all these scripts and open the file cabinet, all of our trainings there. And I'm not making fun, but this is a true story. I go upstairs to the training area and I open this metal cabinet. It's like, like you're opening the Dead Sea Scrolls, dust is falling out. And I just picked the first thing that I looked at, which was Floyd Wickman's Sweat Hogs. Now, this is old school, right? This is 18 years ago, but still, this is probably old then. And it's Floyd Wickman talking about what to do and what to say. And I just literally went to page 1. And if he said, do this, I did that. And so what I did is I developed a script that was, and here's the script. Hey, this is Randy Bird with Coldwell Banker CNC Property, and here in beautiful Redding, California. I was just curious, are you thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate in the next 6 months? ? Right? And then that was my script, and I called 100 people a day. So now fast forward, a year or two, I leave, I go to Remax. A year or two later, I get asked to come to Keller Williams. I become a team leader. I start training, and I'm doing live dials with my client, with my, with the agents in the office. And I get this up call, and I'm like, hi, this is Randy Bird with Coldwell Banker CNC Properties. What can I do to help you buy, sell, or invest in real estate today? And everybody's looking at me, and I'm like, I just had to keep going with it. And it's happened to me 4 or 5 times in the last, 5 years. When I get into my groove, I just go back to what I did 1,000 of.
Yeah. It really goes to show the power of habit, right? Old habits die hard.
It really does. So tell me about your team. How much do you guys practice scripts and role play to be a boss? I mean, to be a boss in your space, you've got to practice this stuff.
Yeah, so it's different for different agents on the team. When they're first starting out, they've got a 90-day boot camp they run through. And so it's really heavy during that amount of time where they're going to be practicing, 3-5 times a week. We really recommend that it's every day, 30 minutes every single day for their first 90 days, because they've got to get that sunk into their subconscious. So in the beginning, it's super heavy. Agents that are more seasoned, have been with the team, they're still practicing those scripts or coming up with maybe some different objections they haven't dealt with before, or something like that. And so that's a little less, maybe once or twice a week. It just depends. Just depends on.
I love it. Okay. So I like jumping around a little bit, and I'm going to throw you off guard with this, but I want to have fun with this show, right? I want this show to be fun. We talked about this. I have another big Facebook group with a few thousand in it called Real Estate Happy Hour. We're focusing on real estate fun stuff, right? Things that we can make fun of, funny stories, that kind of stuff. But
there's no shortage of that.
There's no shortage of that. Exactly. So anything come to mind in your real estate career that you did that was, funny or otherwise, that's in your memory?
Ooh, well, you are putting me on the spot.
That's all right. I could let you think about it. I could write a book on things that have happened in our relationship that are funny or otherwise. There's a lot of stories about walking in the house with somebody in the shower naked and they didn't know you were going to be there. And I'm definitely not short on stories of accidental walk-ins on showing opportunities and things throughout the years. But so let's do this. Let's talk about, what do you think would impact somebody listening to this show? What's going to impact them the most in their entrepreneur path? To me, it's going to be the disciplines of what needs to be done on a customer service level, right? What the 5-star customer experience is going to be, because it crosses all boundaries. It crosses contractors to this, to that, and answering machines and answering machines that are full in business drive me absolutely bonkers. I have something. I have something that I do with people all the time that is not fair, but it's funny to me. And if I call a real estate agent, especially if it's a friend of mine or any business owner, and their voicemail's full, I send them a text from my work number they don't know. And I'm like, hey, this is, so-and-so. I'm sitting out in front of this house. It's $4 million. I'd like to buy it. I'm all cash, but I need to close in 7 days. No contingencies, throw everything out the window. I have to spend this money, or I have a major, penalty. So please call me back ASAP. If I don't hear from you, I'll reach out. I'm looking at this other name. I see Randy Bird. I'm going to call him if I don't hear from you in the next few minutes, and I hang up. And without exception, I'm ornery. Without exception, I get calls back, and they're almost always like, oh my God, you literally had my hair on my neck standing up. And I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. Clear out your mailbox. But
Oh my geez, that is so Henri. I could totally see you doing that.
I'll do it to you too if I catch you. But it's one of my favorite things to do. It is so bad, but it is. I could tell you, there's many people that would tell that story.
Well,
but
so go back to your question, because you were talking about.
Yeah. So what's a nugget? What's a entrepreneur maybe crosses boundaries like a boss? What's a like a boss? We're gonna make that a mannerism, right? A lock up like a boss. But what's a like a boss nugget that you could leave people with today that crosses the boundaries in both, real estate, lending, title? This is really going to encompass a large group of people, in my opinion, and entrepreneurs and small business owners. What do you think that one thing is, or one of the things for you?
I'm going to leave you with two. I'm a rule breaker.
Okay.
So the first one I think has been heard of a lot, probably a super common answer, but it would be consistency. Anything that you do has to have consistency to it, because consistency compounds, but so does inconsistency. Ooh. And obviously we don't like those results. So consistency is huge. You've got to be able to do what you do well and do it again and again and again, even when it's boring or mundane. Those are the things that will drive the business, behind the scenes, is if you're consistent in doing those things at a high level. Then second thing I would recommend, and this maybe isn't as commonly talked about, but I think it's a really key component to the recipe of being successful, is really just the ability to take the hits and keep going. I know, having done this industry for a long time, I've seen a lot of agents come in and I've seen a lot of agents go out. And the one thing that I see as being really the key factor to whether they stay or they go is their ability to fall down, make a mistake, deal with a really, difficult client or agent, or just anybody in the transaction, just any personality that might be difficult, to be able to deal with those things and let it roll off your back, right? Like a duck, and keep going, pick yourself up, keep moving on, and not let it ruin the rest of your career over that day. I've had so many highs and lows. I can't even tell you. I can't even begin to count them all.
This is a business and industry of highs and lows for sure.
It is. And you
Very
have
emotional.
to be able to keep going. You've got to be able to keep picking yourself up. Sometimes it takes longer than others.
How do you do that? What's your skill set? What have you learned over the years to help you navigate that?
Well, I think partnerships are a really big key to that. Having someone, whether it's one person in your corner or it's a whole team in your corner. I heard the other day, actually, this is a great question, because I heard the other day somebody talking about having your own personal board of directors, where you meet with them once a month, people from all different areas of your life. They don't even have to all know each other. And you get together and the meeting is about the trajectory of your business, the trajectory of your life, looking at the whole circle.
That gave me goosebumps.
Right? Partnerships, but it's all partnerships. So I know, when you and I started partnering together on things, there is something to be said for having that partner that really believes in what you can do. It makes you work 10 times harder. It really, really does. So
it does. It's a level up. And, it's very true in our economic model with this business. The more I help other people, the more I win. And that's a Zig Ziglar, helping up people get what they want, you get what you want. And that's something that I live by. And show me who your friends are, I'll show you who you are. Right. That's the other one that always sticks with me no matter what. And I'm always doing an accounting of my inner circle and my friend circle and things with that. And so what you bring up about that, boy, that's a good one. Because when you can have the people that love you, be able to have that board of directors leading you as the CEO of your life, right? Business, personal, faith, family, whatever it is, that's pretty powerful. Matter of fact, I'm going to give that a lot more thought and how I can institute that into my business, because, I'm always that. I like getting into the dirty stuff. I like getting into the stuff that's growth. I'm just a personal growth junkie. And I know all the flaws I have, and it's because I've been able to explore those. And I love asking friends tough questions like, hey, I value you, you value me, but I want you to tell me one thing I could do better to enhance our relationship, enhance our friendship, enhance how I show up in the world in our circle. And it
Yeah.
just blows people away when you ask them that. And then it's even more impactful when you get the answer sometimes.
We all have blind spots, right, Randy? Like even if you feel like you know what your weaknesses are, there's still areas, I guarantee it, that you don't even know or see. And if you've got people around you that are willing to talk tough with you, and you're like, look, you're not going to hurt my feelings, but I can't improve if you don't tell me.
Totally.
But you got to be willing to hear it too. And I think that's another key factor, is you've got to be willing to hear the tough stuff and know what you need to work on. Because if you're not willing to hear it, then it's kind of a moot point, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And only through that growth, I couldn't hear things that I hear today, even 10 years ago, much less 20 years ago.
Yeah.
There's just no way. I thought I was a boss back then. And then now, through growth and getting up from those failures, is really when you start to identify what it takes to be a boss, what it takes to be a CEO and an entrepreneur. But wow, what a first great show with you. I'm super excited to continue this journey with you, Andrea. And so how can people get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you?
Yeah. I mean, easiest way, honestly, is probably my email, because it's just my name. So it's easy to remember. It's just Andrea@AndreaBeem.com.
Awesome. And that's ANDREABEEM.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. 2 E's. Unfortunately, it's not like Jim Beam, or I'd be a millionaire.
That would be cool, but
2 E's.
But it's easy. It's easy. Well, listen, thank you for being here. I'm excited about the future. The day we met, I knew that this was going to happen. We were too much energy not to put that horsepower together and to team up. And what a perfect conduit for it is Like a Boss podcast. We'll put this out to different places on the podcast world, as well as the video will be available on our website that's coming, and all these other things. So we appreciate you being here. Thanks for the support. And here's the price of the show. Nothing's free in this life. The price of the show is this: share it with a friend. If you found value, if you think that there's value in the show for you, share it with one friend. And if we continue to do that, the show will grow. It will add value. But honestly, the value is right. Me getting to meet with Andrea every week and listening to the horsepower of the show. So thank you for being here. See you next time. For now, it's Like a Boss Pod saying, have a great day. Mwah. See you later. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.